I hope that this video serves as a wake-up call to someone out there somewhere. Because the scariest part about the video that you're about to watch is that I know for a fact that a lot of you watching this video right now, might not be you, it might not be you, but I'm talking to you. A lot of you watching this video right now are caught up in this evil form of psychological warfare, and you probably don't even realize it. And if you're not caught up in it, there's a good chance that someone you know, someone you love, maybe your kids, are caught up in this evil form of psychological warfare. Now, remember not that long ago when they banned TikTok for like a day? That day, it went by very quickly, but it seemed like a lifetime to some. And that day, it served as a huge wake-up call to me. Because people lost their minds. It was like the biggest deal for that 24 hours. People were acting like they didn't know what to do with themselves. It was almost as if their entire life was ripped away from them. Like people were like aimlessly walking down the street. They didn't know where to go, what to do, because TikTok was gone. That day served as a huge wake-up call to me because I'm someone who covers the news for a living, and we go over all types of crazy, world-changing, life-changing, shocking events. We cover all types of crazy, big news that the majority of people don't really care about. Think about all the wild, crazy stuff you've heard on this channel. None of it made a bigger splash than TikTok going away for a couple of days, or really like about a day or so. And it was also very interesting watching like some of the same people who were calling to ban TikTok. They were like celebrating when TikTok came back, so that didn't necessarily make sense to me, but I kind of get it. Because I'll be honest, I had mixed feelings about TikTok and the TikTok ban as well. Because I know for a fact, it's undeniable. You might be in denial, but it's a fact that TikTok is a weapon that is being used against you. Sure, it serves some good, but boy oh boy does it serve some bad. But at the same time, it's a slippery slope when you're allowing the government to ban social media platforms. Hell, who's to say that YouTube wouldn't be next? And then how would I communicate with all of you all? So as someone who is a content creator here on YouTube, it's hard for me to support, banning these social media platforms because, hey, this platform could be next. And I'm also well aware that the government wasn't necessarily trying to ban TikTok because of all of the evil things taking place on TikTok and how TikTok is being weaponized against us. I think the government wanted to ban TikTok more so because it was a way that people were rapidly spreading information. A lot of it may be fake or misinformation, but there was some truth on there as well. And it's hard to control the narrative. It's hard for the government to control the narrative when it comes to a lot of these news stories and these, shocking events that are happening every day when everyone has a phone and everyone has TikTok and people are just recording things as they happen in real time. So I think that is the real reason why they wanted to take away TikTok. But, I was on the fence with it because I know that TikTok can do some good, but I also know that it can do some bad. And I don't think people realize that every single person has a unique TikTok experience. Everyone is on a different algorithm. And some of these, the algorithm, it has to do with your interest, but it also has to do with your age, things that you look up on the internet. Even when you're talking around your phone is always listening. Okay? When you talk around your phone is always listening. That's why when let's say you're talking about Mexican food and you pick up your phone, there's going to be an ad for Mexican food. If you're talking about this store, you pick up your phone, there's going to be ads for that store. So the algorithm and the social media platforms and your phone, they're always listening and spying on you. Okay, so part of your algorithm on TikTok is geared towards you and your interest in what you've looked up. But it's also geared towards your age. And there's just so many factors that go into what TikTok is going to show you. So I know that TikTok is extremely useful for people. You could learn how to fix your kitchen sink, or you learn a lot of cool recipes. Often when I travel and I'm traveling with someone, I don't have TikTok myself, and they have TikTok, they'll find, the best restaurants in town on TikTok. So I get that TikTok can have a lot of, kind-hearted, pure content. But what a lot of people don't realize is that TikTok knows you. It knows who you are. And there are certain demographics that TikTok targets with different content that you will never see on TikTok. You see teenagers all over America are constantly being fed content. They're constantly being fed TikTok videos about unaliving themselves, about taking themselves out. I can't say the word because we're here on YouTube, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You see, when you get on TikTok, they're showing you, hey, here's how to make some good chicken Alfredo. Or, hey, look at these cute kitten videos. But teenagers all over America, this has already been proven. They're constantly being fed these depressing videos that are kind of encouraging them and talking them into doing bad things to themselves. And there's already lawsuits and stuff out there about this. And there's one story that really sticks out to me, and it just shows the true evil that is lurking on TikTok that a lot of people don't realize, because like I said, you may get on TikTok and see nothing but good. And there's a lot of people doing good on TikTok. There's a lot of creative people on TikTok, and I have nothing against them. But there's some evil, I don't want to say demonic, but there's some evil forces at play here on TikTok. There are forces behind the scenes. There are evil people behind the scenes pulling the strings on TikTok that are purposely feeding our young American kids depressing content that is encouraging them to end themselves. And that's why the rate of people taking themselves out and ending themselves is skyrocketing, especially amongst young people. Young people like the young man we're about to talk about today by the name of Chase Nazca. Chase was a very positive kid. He downloaded TikTok because he wanted to look at soccer videos. And the normal stuff that a kid around Chase's age would look at around 15 or 16 years old. But TikTok, for some reason, constantly would feed him video after video after video about people ending themselves, and by specific videos of people walking in front of trains. Because you see, TikTok, it knows your age. It knows where you live. It knows your location. And TikTok knew that this young man lived not too far from some train tracks. So every day, slowly, as this young man would get on TikTok to look at other videos, he wouldn't look up stuff like this. TikTok would constantly feed him videos about walking in front of trains, walking in front of trains, walking in front of trains. This was a bright young kid. As far as I know, this kid wasn't depressed. He seemed happy. Until one day, after being fed thousands upon thousands upon thousands of these creepy, crazy videos of people ending themselves via walking in front of trains or encouraging people to walk in front of trains, what does the young man do? Take a wild guess. So folks, I understand you may be on TikTok and there may be stuff that you're interested in on there, and I have nothing against you for that. But I think you need to understand that this is deeper than what some people know. And it might not be on your phone, it might not be affecting you, but it may be affecting someone you know. More specifically, it usually targets young kids. Well, let's go ahead and dive into this article. TikTok used location tracking to send railroad-themed unaliving videos to a Long Island teen who lived by train tracks and later walked in front of train. TikTok used location to send railroad-themed unaliving videos to a Long Island teen living near a commuter train track before he tragically walked in front of a train. The parents of Chase Nazca, age 16 of Bayport, having been seeking to hold the social media giant and its parent company ByteDance responsible for their son's unaliving in 2022, arguing its addictive algorithms bombarded him with thousands of train-related videos, or walking in front of train-related videos, before his demise. The China-owned platform actually went so far as to tailor the morbid videos around the fact that Chase lived close to the Long Island Railroad. Even though the promising high school soccer player had only started out seeking uplifting and motivational videos, according to a filing opposing TikTok's bid to get the suit thrown out. Some of the videos TikTok directed to Chase, who lived a quarter-mile away from the LIRR tracks, encouraged young people to end themselves by stepping in front of moving trains, the court documents say. This was no coincidence at all. In fact, TikTok has copped to the fact that it monitors user location data to send people relevant content, the filing says. TikTok used Chase's geolocating data to send him railroad-themed unaliving videos both before and after his death. In December, TikTok filed a routine motion to dismiss the case filed by parents Dean and Michelle Nazca in 2023 on the grounds that content on the app is protected speech covered by the First Amendment. It also argued that product liability laws couldn't be brought against it since it doesn't provide a tangible product. But the Nazca filing argues that neither defense should let the social media behemoth off the hook in their son's case. TikTok owed a duty of care to protect Chase Nazca from foreseeable injuries arising out of the normal and anticipated use of their social media products, the court documents claim. The app was designed to maximize Chase's engagement through a progression of extreme videos which exploited his underdeveloped neurology and emotional security, the filing charges. His death was part of intentional design decisions by the company, the court papers claim. The teen, who was a junior at Bayport Blue High School and was accepted into an Olympic development program for soccer, had been a well-adjusted kid who was merely looking for uplifting and motivational videos when the app instead steered thousands of unaliving videos and walking in front of train videos to his For You page. Congress had passed a law last year which former President Joe Biden signed off on to ban TikTok from the U.S. unless it was sold off to an American company. Trump then threw the app a lifeline by postponing the ban for 75 days to allow time for a sale to go through. The app has until April 5th to reach a deal. So, even after this kid is gone, the parents go on his TikTok and his For You page, nothing but people walking in front of trains. Now, why is this? It's not funny, but it's like, why is there a plethora of people walking in front of trains content on TikTok to begin with? And before I sat down and even made this video, I was talking to people about this story. And no one I know, at least that I've talked to recently, none of the people who I was talking to, they all have TikTok. They're on TikTok all day. None of them have ever seen content like this. I would hope that the majority of people watching this video, you can let me know down in the comments, are you fed this type of content? Do you get on TikTok and TikTok kind of forcefully just shows you people doing stuff like this? You see, this is not just a problem with Chase, who we just talked about. There are thousands of stories across America like this one. Not exactly like this one, but like this one. And it's apparently clear that the majority of this type of content, it is fed to people in a certain age demographic. It's mostly fed to people, or it's mostly fed to teenagers, around 14, 15, 16 years old. And, they've gone through Chase's TikTok, they've gone through his search history and stuff. And allegedly, from what they claim, he was searching out and seeking out positive stuff. He was a promising soccer player. Possibly he would have even, who knows? He could have been on the Olympic team for all we know. And he was seeking out the type of content that you would expect a 16-year-old soccer player to be seeking out. But instead, his For You page is constantly force-feeding him people walking in front of the train on the train tracks. And the app knew for a fact that he lived not too far from train tracks. And over time, it almost, I don't want to say hypnotize or brainwash, because maybe that's too strong of a word or something, but how else would you describe it? Kids glued to his phone on TikTok, swiping up over and over and over again. And he's just constantly walk in front of train, walk in front of train, walk in front of train, until he walks in front of a train. I call that brainwashing. I call that like he was hypnotized by TikTok. And one thing I've realized about a lot of people on TikTok, when they're on TikTok, they don't even really soak in the videos. It's like the videos are already like 30 seconds long, and people just swipe. They can't even sit for the whole 30 seconds. Really, people are almost addicted to the swipe. People are addicted to the swiping through the TikToks, because you really don't even take half of the content in or even acknowledge what you're watching. So it's definitely affecting people's brains in different ways. And the content that people are being fed is affecting them in different ways. And, young kids, their brains aren't fully developed. They're very impressionable. And who knows what type of mental space a lot of these young kids are being put in because of the content they're being exposed to on TikTok. And maybe this explains why there's a huge rise. We know social media is part of the problem, but it's one thing when you got, toxic behavior on social media and kids are arguing and bullying each other. It's another thing when a kid already has that going on. The kid already has the high school drama and the pressures of being a teenager going on. And then, in their free time, they're on TikTok, and TikTok is just constantly telling them to walk in front of a train, It's some really crazy stuff. And it's evil. It's downright evil. And I just hope that more people understand the evil that is lurking right on their phones. And like I said, It might not be affecting you. You have to think deeper than you. The world is bigger than you. It might not be on your TikTok. You might swipe all day and never see anything like it. But someone like Chase, it was almost exclusively what they were showing him. And something like this could be happening right under your roof with one of your kids. So be careful, pay attention, and let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.